Today is my day, a brand new beginning.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Talk Up Your Biz with me, Jean-Noel Bassior, and my co-host,
Susan Levin, Speaker Services.
And we have a great show planned for you today. We have fitness expert and trainer Jack Kenefick in studio with us, and we have Helene Harris as well. She is both a business coach and a therapist, so she has a lot of interesting things to say about how to make your business really, really work for you without losing your soul, which is a nice concept, don't you
Right.
think?
She's a business intuitive.
Yeah.
Intuition, which is very different and unusual.
Yeah.
So we're happy to have both of them on the call tonight.
Right. And we try on the show to have these experts in to help you with your business, and also to give them an opportunity and show you how somebody goes out there and talks up their business. You know, how do you get on a show like this, and what an opportunity things like this, the media, can be to get the message out about your business and become an expert. So
we hope to inspire those of you who are out there who are authors, entrepreneurs, or experts, and you're looking for a way to let people know about your expertise. And we believe that speaking is the best way to market yourself. So we bring on these folks who are here to show you the way. And then we like to talk about what's going on in the industry. So what's new this week, Jean-Noel?
Well, you always find these wonderful stories and Seth Godin seems to pop up like almost every week, right? Because
he's pretty incredible, Seth Godin.
Right.
He writes every day from his blog, and sometimes he just floors me. He's so right on.
Right.
He's written many, many books. But today I picked out a piece called Sure, That's Not a Plan. And he talks, and I'm going to read it to you because it's short and it's really right to the point. He says, the most common thing people ask me about is how to get picked, a shortcut to success, a way to spread an idea or build a platform without doing particularly a large amount of work. We can all relate to that.
Right.
Getting picked is fine if it happens to you, but it's not a plan. It's a version of waiting and hoping. So we're quick to claim credit for the good fortune fairy when she randomly shows up and picks us. The thing is, the good fortune fairy has to pick someone. And this time, if you were lucky, it was you, but that's not a plan.
So I was asking myself, what does he mean by getting picked? I mean, I thought I knew, but then he goes on with this example about Hollywood and Vine, right? The talent scout who...
Yeah. Go ahead, explain.
It's the stories of, somebody was walking around on the corner of Hollywood and Vine, and a talent scout found them. I mean, these were the old days of Hollywood, right?
Right.
And they got picked, right?
Yeah, that's how it used to be. And it still happens, like on, these Dancing with the Stars or The Voice. Sometimes this happens, or they discover somebody who's really fabulous, but it doesn't happen that often. So what he's going on to say, a plan involves steps that are largely under your influence and control. And a plan involves hard and dreary and difficult work of 1,000 brave steps, of doing things that may not work, of connecting and caring and bringing generosity. I like that. When we don't think we have any more to bring. So when your plan works, take a bow. You earned it. And it's interesting because when we were sitting in the green room tonight, I was talking with Helaine, and she may be in business even longer than I have been, and she's she's working a lot. And both of us are working a lot.
No one's been in business longer than you have.
Oh, yeah, I think Helaine has it a little bit longer, right, Helaine? Just a little bit, right. Yeah, and Jack, he's starting a new business. He used to be a CPA, so he's breaking into a new business. Mm-hmm. And nothing is you just can't jump into it. It doesn't happen that often. You really have to work at it. And then when you get to a place, where you can delegate, that's good. But, I want to say something too. When we started both of our shows, the Talk Up Your Biz and the Book Beat, it was an enormous amount of work. And I was complaining all the time to Jean-Noel, oh, this is so much work. I don't want to do this work. But now, I've put all the hard work in, both of us have. And now it's just easier, and people are calling us and they're getting to know us, and it's just working fine, but you do have to put the work in.
And I think we had a plan in a way. We didn't write it out, but
we talked it out.
Yeah, we did. It was clear, but it became clear. It was fuzzy at first, though. because we didn't really
Right.
know what we were doing. But
Right.
like anything else, you know.
Well, we had a lot of help from our folks here at LA Talk Live, from
Yeah.
Nez and Richard, who are rooting along for us and cheering along, as they still are. Yes, thank you very much. And I'm very proud to say, when Richard gave us the stats for Talk Up Your Biz, this show, for March and April alone, there were over 287,000 people who have listened to the show or listened to the replays, from what I understand. And who would have known? We had no idea. So we feel we're celebritized.
This floored me so much. I looked, it was like a 6.81 market share. So I Googled, what does that really mean? Because I knew a little bit about media, and I knew, okay, it's not double digits, but 6.81 can be okay. So it was like CBS on a bad day. You know, I found that a few years ago, when CBS had kind of been behind, they had about a 6.8 market share. So that wasn't too bad.
And so where are we in comparison to them?
6.81. Well, you know, we were about level with, like I say, CBS on a bad day.
Oh, I think that's great. I think that's really good. So I want to remind people, too, we've been talking about this for the last couple weeks, talking about media. JeanNoel and I are doing a free complimentary teleclass for those of you who want to take your message to the media. And we'll be answering questions. And it's next week on the 26th. That's a Wednesday at 4 o'clock. So please go to speakerservices.com. On the homepage, look along the left-hand column and sign up for free, and we'll be there for you. And we'll answer your questions, and we'll make some suggestions, because people are always asking us, how can I work with the media? What kind of questions do I need? How do I write a press release? How do I get published? You know, what's the difference between mainstream and non-mainstream?
And how do I reach out to a show like this?
Right.
Or there's so many opportunities now with Blog Talk Radio
Yes.
and other outlets, because this is part of the whole kind of self-publishing world now that has sprung up, and there has to be a huge media for that world. And so many people are self-published. There's so many opportunities, even if you don't have a book, to go on a show like this. But you have to be focused. And one of the things is we want to show you, like, how to focus in on who you are and what you do, and how to get at least some basic materials together, at least find out what you need.
Right. And when I reach out, and I do it a lot through social media, I'll say, send me a query and let me know a couple paragraphs about what you speak about, what your book is about. And I get back, well, go to my website. And then I go and I look at the website and it says, well, call me for information. We know you need help.
Yeah, never ever tell someone, go to my website, because, you know, people are busy, and they just, you know, it's really, as I know you guys know, it's your responsibility to do the work for them. But what I would suggest is always have one sentence that describes who you are and what you do. And we're going to talk about this with this Lois Kramer piece, right?
Yeah.
And also I would add, because we ask people for this, at least for the book bee, you know, be able to write a couple of short paragraphs, you know, for the host of the show that's a really good synopsis or summary that just tells us who you are and what you do. And don't hold back. Like, just tell us really how you help people. Tell us, you know, how your system or your business is unique, or what you do that's different from how other people that are doing the same thing do it. So stuff like that.
Yeah, so here's two options for you. If you've got it together, send an email to me to query me, Susan@speakerservices.com, for Talk Up Your Biz, or for the Book Beat. You could do that, following what JeanNoel said. And I can also send you the template. And if you need help, we are there too to help you, and we can design a package for you, because we do work with people individually, and we have a new client that we're working with. Before we get to Lois Kramer's piece, let's talk about this new client that we're working with. I think he's very interesting, and he needs a lot of help.
Right. I had a student, a client that I've been coaching, who wrote a novel that deals with the Holocaust. But he's, in real life, he's an MD, and he had a very strange experience. He was on a medical board in southwestern state, and an application came in from a doctor, or someone who said he was a doctor, and my client, I'm going to call him Tom, he looked at this application, and he looked at the date of graduation, that this guy had graduated from med school, and he looked at the town in Germany where supposedly this school was. And he knew from his knowledge of World War II that that town had been devastated, had been destroyed, and that there was no possibility that this guy had actually graduated. So he sort of suspected that these credentials were false. So he started to research this further, and what developed around it was a whole novel about a Jewish doctor who was forced to work with the Nazi doctors during World War II. And this happened. It's a story that has been told, but not a lot. And he fictionalized the characters. And it resulted in a very interesting story. Years later, as he was into this book, he was on a plane.
Another plane.
He was, and he was sitting next to an attorney. And he started talking about this novel he was writing, and describing this main character who became this guy who he thought had forged his credentials. This became like his main character, or one of the characters in the book, not the Jewish doctor, another character. And it turned out that the attorney knew the guy that had been this bogus applicant to the med school. And my client ended up actually confronting him and meeting him. So this was kind of a very interesting thing that happened in the course of this book.
But what's also interesting, because we talked about this ourselves during the week, that they just found a man who's 94 years old.
Yeah.
Who was quietly living in the States. But
Right.
What was the rest of the story?
Well, I mean, he's finally been arrested, and he killed a lot of people, and he devastated a lot of families. But the other thing that comes up with this book is Operation Paperclip, CIA bringing lots of people in, German scientists to work on our space program. And there's a whole kind of lot of interesting stuff.
So what does this Tom need from us now where
he
at?
has a lot of opportunities to go out and speak. I mean, he could start with the Jewish community, of course, but there's actually a debate that goes beyond the Jewish community. In fact, this was recently in the Wall Street Journal within the last year. There has been a whole debate raging about, should we have let these scientists in? What positions do they hold in NASA currently? So there's other organizations that he could speak to.
Right,
so
and
he's
Helaine told me about an organization that I never heard of.
Really?
Also, what is it, Helaine? J what?
JNet, Jewish Networking.
JNet, yeah, and they have chapters all over California, but we're going to look into it.
Right, lots of opportunities, right?
But he also needs to get his story angles together and pick out from the novel, you know, so that he can speak about it, and also how to talk to the media.
Right, and the challenge here is that it's a novel.
Right.
It's not like he's done a historical book. It's not nonfiction. He's not telling the historical aspect. This is the challenge, right? But it can be done.
Yes, and it will be done because we're meeting with him, so that's fun. Yeah, and we have another client that we've talked about before who's a nurse practitioner who's just completed 10 sessions with us, and she loves us. She wants to give us money.
If we do say so.
Yeah, I do say so. She says it all the time, and she's going to be working with us again to get to the next level, because we had to get her focused and ready to go, along with her book and now with speaking and
this is an example. What's important about her, I think we've said, is that she can actually go out and speak because of her expertise before her book is finished.
Right, and she's got an interesting book, and she knows the market for it, but we think it has more legs than that. So that's what we're going to be talking to her about. So the other night, last Wednesday, I spoke to the Holistic Chamber of Commerce. Now, I just want to say Camille Leon, who's the executive director, who has had the business for 5 years, has done an amazing job. She'll be a guest here next week on the show, and she'll tell us more about it. But she's got chapters all over the country, and here we are in LA. And being a member of the group, which is very reasonable, you can speak. So I spoke for the second time because I just renewed my membership. And I asked Adam Tim, who has been on our show, who's fabulous. He's the president. I said, what do you want me to talk about? And we started chatting, and he said, well, I think people don't know what their stories are. So I came up with, every business has a story. What's yours? And I had also seen that Lois Kremer, who's a colleague of mine, who's a marketing person somewhere in the Midwest, I believe. And I've never met her, but we've spoken several times in email, and I love her posts.
She has great information, doesn't she? Yeah.
Right, and she works with speakers and authors. And she wrote a post. It's very simple. It's called, do you have a positioning statement? Get one if you don't. And a positioning statement is something very simple. And it seems very difficult for people because when we ask them to go around the room, this is how I started the conversation. I had them all go around the room and I said, give us 15 seconds and tell us who you are, but pay attention to what everybody's saying because we may need that information later. And they introduced themselves. Some people, we had to get the hook and bring them, get them off the platform, so to speak. And then we went into like a positioning statement. Now we know what a little bit about you. What value do you bring to your people? And can you say that in one sentence? And she suggests, and I think it's very good, you start with...
it's the concept and outcome of working with you. I love that.
Yes.
Because, and she gives you actually a template here. You can fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
She uses her own as an example. So here's her statement, right? Is I work with organizations that want to book more business, make more money, and avoid costly mistakes. So who wouldn't want that?
Exactly.
Right? And then the template, do you want to read that?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So you just fill in the blank. I work with organizations that want to, and then fill in what do you do for them? That's as simple as that. So that they can, and then you can also add this, so if they work with you and they learn how to do this stuff, what's the result going to be for them? So that
what's the outcome?
They can do X, Y, and Z.
Exactly. And that helped us get to the next place, which was, what is your story? What have you done that has helped people?
Mm-hmm.
And we gave some examples of it. Donna was with me and she was very helpful. And people came up with great stories and they told it very succinctly. And I said, 2 minutes each. And some of them were very moving. Mm-hmm. And there was one woman who was, I don't know what her exact thing is, but she works with heart patients while they're waiting to get a heart transplant or afterwards. And she works at a hospital. And she said, I don't have a story to tell. And she was sitting next to me, and Adam was on the other side, and he was coaching her, and I was saying, yes, you do have a story.
How could she not have a story to tell?
She came up with the most beautiful story. I said, do you want to share? And she stood up there, and she shook like this. And she told the story about a 17-year-old woman who she helped and who, told, like, the way you tell a story is all the pain and the gain and the value that you brought to it. And what was really fun about it, too, was there was another meeting the next night in another chapter, and I saw on the membership site that they said, oh, we used the techniques that Susan taught us, and it was really helpful at our meeting. So I appreciated that.
Right.
But I also want to go back to the positioning statement because, as a marketer, it's like, okay, so you have your positioning statement, so what do you do with it now? Aside from telling people when you meet them, this is what I do. And I think we're running out of time. So if you would like to know what to do, email me because I have a 7-page handout that I gave them, and I would like to offer it to you on how to market yourself and use your positioning statement. Mm-hmm. So we've just run out of time. We think we don't have that much to talk about, but we always do. So now when we come back from break, we're going to be talking to Jack Kenefick. And he's a fitness expert who shows us how to break free from the endless cycle of dieting, integrate fitness into your lifestyle, and achieve short-term goals that lead to long-term permanent success. So you've been listening to Talk Up Your Biz only at LA Talk Live, and we'll be back with you in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, this is JeanNoel-Bassior, inviting you to join me for my new show, The Book Beat, Monday evenings at 6:30 p.m. I'll be talking to authors about their latest book so you can find a fantastic read. But more than that, I'll be talking to experts about how you can write your own book and get it published. So tune in on Mondays at 6:30 p.m. exclusively on latalklive.com. And remember, you can catch us on iTunes Radio R&B or watch us on Ustream TV. reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, this is Dr. Levi, your fitness doctor, making a personal house call, inviting you to join me Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific for my all-new show, The Dr. Levi Show. Join us as we discuss fitness, health, and well-being, including emotional and spiritual health. So don't forget to tune in to The Dr. Levi Show every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, exclusively on latalklive.com and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. You can also catch us on iTunes, Radio R&B, or watch us on Ustream.tv, or catch us on the Live 365 network, and now on Radio Flag and Stitcher Radio. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, this is Helaine, inviting you to join me every Wednesday at noon for Helene's Beauty Talk and more, exclusively on LA Talk Live. You can also catch us on iTunes, Radio, R&B, or watch us on Ustream.tv. Reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Today is my day, a brand new beginning. The future will blossom magnificently.
Welcome back. You're at LA Talk Live, where we're more than just talking. This is Talk Up Your Biz, Speak Your Way to More Profits with Susan Levin and Jean-Noel-Bassior. And our first guest today is Jack Kenefick, and he's one of our new speakers and has just joined us. And he is telling us that his passion is to empower people with the confidence and vitality to achieve a higher quality of life. He has had an 11-year career as a CPA before he realized that life is too short not to do what you love. So welcome, Jack. We're glad that you're on the call with us.
Thank you for having me,
on the
Susan.
show. It's not even a call. It's live. We get to see you.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Good. So I think Jean-Noel has a couple questions
I have
here
to
for you.
ask, no, I must
yeah,
ask,
you're
how
fascinated.
do you go from being a CPA to a fitness
That's
trainer?
a good question.
It's kind of bizarre, isn't it?
It is bizarre, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's gives us all hope. So,
Well, I come from a whole family of CPAs. My father's
Ah.
a CPA, my sister, my brother-in-law, my mom's an accountant.
No kidding.
Yeah, so
What
it
does
runs
your
in the
wife
blood.
do?
I'm single right now.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
off
I
the
thought I heard
market
you
right
say you
now.
had kids.
No.
Okay.
But yeah, so come
Watch
from a
out,
whole family of
CPA women.
CPAs.
so did you just like drift into the business because everybody else was?
Yeah, I wasn't really sure what to do when I was a kid, but I always had this vision of helping masses of people, even when I was 12 years old. So it's a wonderful profession. It's a great opportunity to really help people. People's lives are so closely tied to their finances.
Right.
So you have the opportunity to help people with their finances. It can really change people's lives. But it just wasn't for me. I wasn't doing what I was put on the planet to do. So I jumped ship at 35 and started a whole new career.
So were you working out and sort of, is that how you got into it?
Yeah, I've always been into fitness. I was kind of a geek when I was in high school, so I never really played sports. And so I thought, well, this is something that I can do on my own, and just always was into just being healthy and being fit. So just wanted to kind of pass that on to other people and help them improve the quality of their lives.
I wonder, too, you talk about dieting, about
Yes.
you're tired of fad diets, yo-yo dieting. Is this from a personal experience?
Yeah, I have struggled with weight my entire
Ah.
life. I have gained and lost weight countless times, and I have tried so many different techniques.
Join the
and-
clubs.
Oh yeah, we all have.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the whole industry is dependent on us continuing to fail and having to buy new programs, new products.
Right.
And so I just tried it so much, and I finally was able to achieve some success, and I wanted to kind of pass those skills on to other people.
And what are they?
Well, here's the key. We are constantly trying to search for external solution to external solution. And most people that I have trained and met in the last 9 years, the conversation is the same. We are overwhelmed with things that we have to take care of: kids, the job, the mortgage, the bills. And most people that I have spoken to in the last 9 years, they end up putting everybody else first and put themselves last.
It seems like there's never any time to work out.
Really, yeah. And then we grab whatever is available. And there's a number of different reasons why we all are overweight. We turn to food as a, as kind of, emotional eating to fill the emptiness inside. And to be completely honest, a lot of it is just laziness and apathy, which that's the truth.
Well, as you get into worse physical shape, then you need the sugar hit, right? To kind of keep you revved up and keep you going, right?
Yeah.
It's like a spiral, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's a big
Cycle.
You'll get that sugar spike, and then you crash, and then you want more.
And you gain weight.
Oh, you gain huge weight. And the biggest obstacle most people face is not having enough time to eat properly. You get up, you're going 100 miles an hour in the morning, you fly out the door, you're thinking about your day, and then before you know it, it's 12 o'clock and you haven't eaten, and you're starving.
I know that one. So what are some tips that you offer to people?
Yeah, the main philosophy is I want to learn everything about your life and your schedule and your tastes, your body type, and then making tiny turns to the screws to just adjust your lifestyle so in such small steps that you barely even notice it. So it's not a hindrance on your lifestyle.
Right.
And people don't understand the math, how quickly the numbers add up, the calories add up over the course of time. I had a lady that I was talking to about 2 months ago. She's 62, lovely lady, and she tells me about this article that she read in a magazine about making these little changes can add up to a huge difference in your life. So she has this one thing. She has a cup of coffee with a tablespoon of heavy whipping cream on top. That's kind of her treat. So she goes from a tablespoon to a teaspoon. So it's 80 calories versus 30. Not that big of a deal, 50 calories a day. But 50 calories a day in a month is 1,500 calories a month, 18,000 calories in a year.
Wow.
And that's about 5 pounds of fat. And sure enough, she lost 10 pounds in a year doing nothing else.
Really?
And she's 62.
Wow.
So she's postmenopausal, which is a completely different ballgame. And so people just don't understand. You can make these little tiny tweaks. It really adds up to a big difference.
What's a good thing to eat for breakfast if you're on the run?
Okay, so it has to be something that's pretty portable. So if you can eat oatmeal, great, but something that is portable and easy to fix. So something like a piece of whole grain bread or toast with a little bit of reduced fat peanut butter for some good fat. You can have that and fly out the door. Or maybe some fruit with maybe some eggs if you can have the time to eat it. But typically most people, they're flying out the door. So.
Well, I make a drink every day. I have a Nutribullet that a lot of people
like
have.
that?
I love my Nutribullet.
Does it taste good?
Oh, they have all different things that
I've
you
never
can
heard
It
of
took a
that.
while for it to taste good, didn't it?
No, for you maybe.
me, yeah.
Is
'cause
that a
I gave
protein shake?
JeanNoel
Is that a protein shake?
You make your own drink, and it comes with an incredible book, and it tells you all the combinations of the fruits and the vegetables or combos.
Wow.
But my favorite thing is with the fruit, and I put my protein powder in it. I put my flaxseed in it. I put I forget I can't remember the other thing. What's the black thing? Chia seeds. Thank you, Madonna Jones. And I put frozen fruit in and a banana. And I used coconut milk, just a little bit, and then add water to it, or almonds in it. It's really good.
Yeah, so
And
you're
I drink
getting
the whole thing.
Yeah, you're getting the carbohydrates for
Yeah.
energy, and you're getting the protein,
Right.
which you've got to have protein in the
Right.
morning. That's critical, and it'll help you suppress your appetite because you're giving the
It
body
does.
what it's asking for.
Yeah, when
is
I eat
protein.
eggs in the morning, I'm not hungry for.
You're not hungry.
No.
Yeah.
But
that's
are you
good.
eating eggs?
No. Sometimes I do.
And see, and
Do you
that's-
even eat breakfast? I don't even know that.
Well, I work out a lot. I mean, I have to say, and I don't eat sugar, and I go through, I fall off the wagon, but basically I have learned that when when I get into that cycle that I'm kind of asking you about, and I want to get back to your tips, but I've learned that I reach for the sugar when I kind of fall off the wagon, and that starts the whole cycle downward. So what I want to ask you is, you talk about breaking the cycle.
Yes.
Could you explain that?
Yes, breaking the cycle, going from one product to another product, one solution to another solution, desperately trying to lose the weight. And most of the time we end up achieving some short-term success, but more often than not we end up falling off because we can't integrate that nutrition plan, that diet into our long-term lives. So no matter how effective a program might be, if you can't imagine sticking to that for the next 10, 20 years, then it's not formatted for your life.
You're going to fall off.
You're going
right?
to fall off.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. Life is great. Life is wonderful, obviously, but life is hard. And inevitably, every one of us is going to be dealing with the death of a family member, a friend, or loved one. We lose our job. Money's tight. We're worried about our kids making the right choices. And for most of us, when we're going through those tough times, we get up every morning and we put our clothes on and we go to work and we do our job and we portray this outward projection of having it all together. But outside of all of that, we typically will shut our emotions down just to get through it. Mm-hmm. And those are the times when we need to have the mental tools and the mindset to get through that and not let ourselves go. And that usually takes somebody that's holding your hand and giving you the love and attention that you need to get through it.
So are you saying that it's much deeper than food in the way you work with
It's in
people?
your head. It's right here.
That's right. You were saying that your mindset can save you hundreds of dollars a year, right?
It can save you more than that. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Most people, they're spending money on all these diets or nutrition plans, and this $500 billion a year industry, if all of those plans out there, if they actually worked, and I'm not talking about short term, if they worked in the long term, the entire industry would be dead in 5 years because they would be eliminating the demand for their own products.
Spoken like a true CPA.
Right.
and
forget about the money. Forget about that. It's most people get it physically. Like physically, I know what I have to do. If I were to ask you what are some of the basic things you should be doing, we all know. I should ride my bike more. I should walk a few times a week. I should eat more fruits and vegetables and less processed food, drink plenty of water. But it's the emotional part that we all struggle with. Absolutely.
Right, because that can destroy my fitness regime, this overwhelmed stress, all that stuff. So it sounds like you get to the root of that with your clients?
That's right. It all starts right here. Absolutely.
So last week when we were speaking on the phone, we were looking at different audiences that you could speak to. And Jack was saying, well, who do you think I can speak to? And in his speaker listing, we know that he wants to speak to busy professionals, working mothers, corporations, business groups, churches, and so on. But you have to start with groups that you already know. So we came up with the idea, well, why don't let's go back to the CPAs. I think they could use some help, and the lawyers.
Right.
And we talked about how you could do that by getting the local. Did you get the Business Journal?
I did, and that was great. Yeah, I just got that. I was actually out for a few days, but that's on my list of things to do. Yeah, because I get it. I'm no stranger to the 90-hour work week, and it can be really draining emotionally, physically. And so I know what those busy professionals have gone through. I did it for 11 years.
Right. So that's so perfect. So when you reach out to them, and this is a pure example of you using your expertise and your past experience to reach out to the clients that you already know who need to hear your message because you jumped ship.
I did.
And you want to take them on a new journey so that they don't have to be challenged or suffering or have a heart attack.
Oh my goodness, that's the hard part. It's not just the weight, it's the physical, the heart attacks, the diabetes, all those things that can come back and haunt you later.
Yeah, which
later
is
in
really
life.
challenging.
So this is a great hook. It's like combining those two, don't you think?
That's what we're saying.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like the Clark Kent, Superman, the quiet, unassuming CPA, undercover here.
It is an unusual combination. Yes. My family thought I was nuts when I told them I
But
wanted to
you,
change.
like you said, you're living your passion.
Absolutely.
And that's what we want for everybody. And when people say to us, what should I speak about? I don't have anything to speak about. I say, what are you
Yeah,
passionate about?
That's right.
And then we have to drill down and find out, what you're passionate about.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that everybody is issued certain talents and gifts along with your lungs and your pancreas and all of that, and it's our obligation to do as much good in the world with those gifts with the time we've got, whether it's 30 years or 60 years or whatever. And again, I wasn't doing what I was put here to do.
But
So,
you are now.
I love it.
It's so
Never
nice
look
when
back.
someone realizes that.
Yeah.
So what's a tip that you can give somebody that they could do tomorrow? Like you said, I think the one is good is just cut out some calories. Anything physical, exercise-wise? Or?
I have this great routine that literally takes 5 minutes.
Oh,
and it's
I wanna
something,
hear.
Yeah, I mean, think of it. I am a 45-year-old single mother of 2 kids, and I'm working 40 hours a week, and I am trying to juggle the job, the kids, the mortgage, and my ex-husband's not paying his child support, and I'm trying to deal with my aging parents. I can take 10 minutes for myself at the end of the day, and I'm watching my favorite show on TiVo, and in between on the commercials, instead of fast forwarding, I can take those 5 minutes to do some simple squat presses or jumping jacks. And really that adds up to a big deal. If you're not doing anything right now, that's a big deal. And you
5
just
minutes.
start with that. Yeah,
5
that's
minutes.
all you do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have to do it in the morning. If I don't go to the gym or get out and walk, then I don't do it, because I get involved with the day. So I have to schedule it.
So you're not a power lifter. You don't work out
No,
3 hours a day.
No. Are you kidding? Do I look it?
You just do what you can, whatever fits in with
Yeah.
your lifestyle.
Yeah.
That's all
yeah.
that matters.
Yeah. Sometimes I lay in bed in the morning and do the exercises,
Mm-hmm.
that I've been told to do.
The most important thing is consistency. So people ask me this all the time, Jack, what's the best workout? And my answer is always the same. It's whatever you enjoy, whatever fits in with your schedule and your lifestyle, and because you have to be consistent.
I
Oh.
appreciate that because I
Yeah.
don't like to be, told what to do or you have to do this or you have to do that because then it makes me very rigid.
Yeah.
And I
So you're
like,
stubborn like me.
yes,
Oh, okay.
yes. Ask my friends over here. Yeah.
Stubborn you? Really?
No, not stubborn. Triple Scorpio, not stubborn. No.
But very powerful.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm so thankful that LA Fitness and some of the other gyms are open till midnight because
She's the night owl.
I cram it in
Wow.
sometimes. I
Good
do,
for you.
at the
You're a
end of
better
the day.
person than me.
If they weren't, I couldn't do it,
Yeah. Well, at least you're doing it. You're ahead of most people.
If I go nuts. If I don't work out, I go nuts. I just go stark raving nuts.
Yeah, I've done that too. I mean, I have had a trainer myself, and if I don't work out after about a week or so, I feel like I'm going batty in my head.
Yeah. I just,
You need those endorphins.
it's whatever it is. And sometimes also
Yeah.
I found just along the lines of what you're saying is not to be too rigid myself, because sometimes I'll go like, okay, I've got to hit the gym for an hour, and then it's like half an hour, and sometimes I've talked myself out of going, but I've
Yeah.
discovered if I just go in and do the half an hour is great. I mean,
big. It's a
it
big
works.
deal.
20 minutes is great.
Yeah, and I tell my clients that part of the process, part of moving forward is moving back, taking steps back, and allowing yourself
Baby
to,
steps.
That's right, because inevitably
Yeah,
you will
one
slip
step
up.
at a- Yeah.
You'll go to a family function,
Yeah.
or you'll eat whatever you want, or you'll go for a few days without working out, and allowing yourself to do that and say, okay, I'm human, and not
Pick it up again.
not
I know that syndrome.
not letting the guilt consume you.
Right.
That's
I know
moving
it.
forward.
Yes.
So that's
So
part
very
of it.
good. Very good.
Thank you so much for being with us.
It's great being here. Thanks for having me.
And how do
You're
people
welcome.
get in contact
right.
with you?
Oh, my website is balancedlifefitness.com, and my phone number is area 949-254-6566. Just give me a call.
Say that one more time.
949-254-6566.
You sound like a fantastic personal trainer. You
I
really
love
do.
what I do. Thank you.
call
And he's
him,
in
folks.
Orange County
Mm-hmm.
also for our southern people. And thank you, Kim Summers Eccles, for introducing us to Jack Kenefick.
Love you,
So
Kim.
don't go anywhere, because after a short break, we're going to be joined by Helene Harris, and she's a business coach, a therapist. She's written a really interesting book. Have you ever felt that you're in love with a vampire? That's the title of her book. She's the author of Are You in Love with a Vampire? Healing the Relationship Drain Game. So she has a lot of interesting things to tell us.
Yes, she does.
On Talk Up Your Biz, this is LA Talk Live, where we're more than just talk.
I'm taking a stand and making a difference. Ready to change the world that I see. 'Cause I have a dream. True love is evergreen. I know it's not too late. Gonna grow some love.
Hi, this is Dawn Christie inviting you to join me every Friday, 1 p.m. Pacific, for my all-new show, The Dawn Christie Show. Join me as I discuss love, spiritual readings, your purpose, why am I born, what am I here to do. So don't forget to tune in The Dawn Christie Show at 1 p.m. Pacific, exclusively on LA Talk Live. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B or watch us on Ustream TV, reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, this is Romy Klinger,
This is Rose Garcia.
and we are inviting you to join us for the Romy and Rose Show every Friday at 4 p.m. Tune in for the Romy and Rose Show. We're going to be talking about pop culture, dating, business 101, what's ratchet, what's not ratchet, and music and so much more. So don't forget, tune in to the Romy and Rose Show. About to get real.
Exclusively on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B or watch us on Ustream.tv. Reality show handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
For real talk.
Hi, I'm Tosh Walker, and I want you to join me every Saturday evening from 5 to 8 p.m. for Cocktails with Tosh Walker, where each week is going to be a big party. Why? Come celebrate with me for the very first lifestyle entertainment sports show. And on my cocktail menu, I have special celebrity guests stopping through, and you never know who might come through, boo. It just might be one of your favorite sports celebrities. From Cocktails with Tosh Walker, the Entertainment Lifestyle Sports Show. Right here every Saturday night, where we're more than just talk. We're Cocktails with Tosh Walker. On latalklive.com.
Hi, and welcome back to Talk Up Your Biz with me, JeanNoel-Bassior, and my co-host, Susan Levin. And we are joined in studio by Helene Harris, and she...
Helene Z. Harris.
Helene Z. Harris? Okay.
Yeah.
There are a lot of other Helene Harrises.
Yeah.
A couple, actually.
Yeah, that's a good idea. What does the Z stand for?
My maiden name.
Which was?
Zitovsky.
Oh. My mother's maiden name was similar to Zolotovsky.
So you understand.
Yeah, I do. And she is a business intuitive, and she's, as a background, as a therapist. She's also a business coach, and she does a lot of interesting things. One of them is show you how to attract your ideal clients and customers, and how to run your business and make it really profitable and successful without giving up your soul, while you honor your soul, right?
Right.
So that sounds really interesting. And you have a 5-step program for doing all of this?
Yes, I do.
And also, I do want to add about your book, though. You're the author of Are You in Love with a Vampire? Because that does fascinate me, because you mean people who are kind of in abusive relationships, or...
I'm talking about people in energy draining relationships.
Right,
You know, I wrote about 4 different kinds of energy vampires. The sexual vampire who pulls energy through sex, and the emotional vampire, I think many of us have had experiences with someone you talk to them and you're exhausted after 5 minutes and then they don't listen to you. All right. Mental energy vampires who put you down, who rob you of your energy by making you feel worthless, and spiritual energy vampires who kind of act like they're God and they abuse you.
Are these narcissists basically borderline personality disorder?
Yes, some would be borderline, but not only. Some of them could be more sociopathic. Some could also be more schizoid. So it's like they've been vampired in early childhood. It's not that they go out and try to vampire you. They're unconscious.
Right. They can't feel. They can't feel the way we can.
They feel empty. And so out of their emptiness, they're pulling on you to fill their emptiness, whether it's about time, energy, money, power.
Or feeling better about themselves
Feeling-
by putting you down or
Exactly.
exploiting you. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so our job is to get to why are we drawing them in? What are the wounds in us? Because if we don't draw them in, it doesn't happen. And how to heal through it. And I had to do a lot of healing. I mean, it's a whole process to get to the core of it.
Did you go through this?
Oh, yes. I could have written about it. Yeah. I was working with a shaman who told me I was dating a sexual vampire. And I said, oh, interesting. And I couldn't end it. And it took me a lot of healing work. And so I wrote about it and worked with people in it and still do.
You know, that's really amazing that you've been through it, because there are a lot of therapists and people, experts that write books about this, but they haven't really been through it. So that's unfortunately some pretty good credentials there.
Did you interview other people also, other women or men, or was this?
Well, actually, a lot of them were my clients.
Okay. So you were.
Didn't have to
They
go
brought
far.
you this. They brought you
Yes.
the stories.
They brought me their stories.
Right.
And basically, I really had to go into the core of my own wound and find out my mother was a borderline. And so she pulled the energy. And if someone wasn't pulling the energy from me, I actually didn't think they loved me. I know that's strange for most people.
I
But
can
didn't.
understand that.
We had the same mother.
A
They were
lot of
twins.
Jewish mothers,
They
what
were
can I
twins.
say? But not only, yes. And I also realized that many therapists have had borderline mothers. Okay. But I have a whole career in a book, and I'm still helping people from it.
So tell us about the business intuitive piece.
Well, what began happening is many of my clients began asking me about business issues more and more, and money issues. So I wound up working a great deal with prosperity, and I still do. That's a big piece of what I do, actually, even in the intuition class. And I realized that I really could sense what to do in business, who they should work with, what investments would work for them. Wish I could do it as well for me, but it's easier for someone else
Yeah,
when you're not
always.
emotionally involved.
Always.
That's the key. And I realized over a period of time, I wound up training people how to be more intuitive. It just happened because as we heal our issues, we become more intuitive. So that's a big part of it. And then I found people really wanted assistance in creating better businesses, and I work often with people who are more spiritually inclined, so how to take that piece with it, and I found I can help them. So they come to me with a lot of issues like, I'm not making enough money, my business isn't working, I'm doing everything I should, and it's still not working. How come? So
Yeah,
those-
that's interesting for a therapist to be doing that, because usually people come in, with personal, problems like, I'm in a terrible relationship or I don't feel good about myself. So you've carved out a really good niche for yourself there.
It just started
Yeah.
happening more and more, and I found
No mistakes.
Yeah, I found I could help them, and I love it. I think because I've also worked with trauma for over 30 years, I have a real expertise in sensing things, and what I found is everyone is intuitive. And as they heal their emotional issues, they automatically could use their intuitive abilities, one might be more visual, one more kinesthetic, one more auditory, and one just sensing, knowing, shall we say, to help them in their own business and their own life. And so I taught them or began training them in how to apply it in their business. And what I found is it worked. So
What's an example of a business situation that you could apply your intuition to that most people ordinarily wouldn't?
Okay. They're not sure what to start with in their business. Maybe they want to up-level their business and they have a coach telling them you should do a teleseminar, and you have someone else telling them do a blog, and you have someone else telling them do a telesummit, whatever, okay? And so I had like someone come to me and they had worked a lot on doing a telesummit. Well, they really didn't like interviewing people. That wasn't their forte.
That's not a good thing to do.
It's not a good blend, is it? Right. So the big thing is I got them to go actually into their body, because the body has all the feelings and the emotions, and that's where they get hung up. So I have a whole system for taking them and teaching them about body energy scanning and how to scan their own and anyone they're working with, actually, so they can find out, so what feels good for me. And one gal, what she wound up doing is she really loved writing. I said, you love writing? A gift. Do a blog. And then she began learning, oh my gosh, I can monetize it. What a thing. So it worked a lot better.
So what was the body scan? Was this sort of, how did she do that?
Well, I teach people how to make decisions. What most people try to do is they make decisions from their head or from what other people tell you, okay? Well, but our real knowing isn't only in our head. I mean, we need to use our mind. I have a strong left brain, trust me, so I don't ignore that piece. However, the real essence of who we are is internal. So I have them drop down from their head. In fact, you can do it now. Drop down from your head and feel your throat. And then drop down into your heart and feel what's going on in there. Is it relaxed? Is it tight? What happens when you think of a telesummit? Or what happens when you think of writing articles or speaking and doing live workshops, or in your diaphragm and your belly? Yeah. So it's like I begin teaching them how to sense what's happening internally, so they begin getting the answers.
How to listen to what they feel.
Yes.
So if your business coach is telling you something that doesn't quite feel right, you can really override that if you have to, right?
Well, you need to find your own answers, really.
Right.
That's what I'm teaching people to do. So
what a concept.
What a concept. It's always an inner process. But the interesting thing is, I found all healing is really, and especially in business, it's an inner, but it is also an outer process. You go inside to shift the emotions, to shift the energy, and I teach them a whole energy management format, shall we say, emotional energy format, where they have skills to shift their emotions, because usually that's what hangs people up. That's why they don't think they can do the next step in their business, or they get scared. Well, fear is often part of something new, but you can work it through. All right. So how do you do that and still feel good? So then I teach them what to do with that. They have an emotional energy management system, and they need a structured approach. And I tend to work with spiritual people. Well, with spiritual people like me, a structured approach, oh my gosh.
I just want to feel it.
Right. But it's not enough. They really need the left and the right brain.
You need a system.
So you need the inner to feel and to sense and to get guidance from spirit. I teach them, and we work a lot with how to do that. I go in and help them create their inner business counsel and their intuition guide, really take them into that process and journey in the inner realms. And then they still need outer skills.
Absolutely.
So
do any of them get their ideas in the shower like I do? Did you ever hear that?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's common.
Very common, because the water is washing you down, and as you're cleaning your outer body, ideas come in. It's very common.
Plus you're relaxed. You're not trying to think of things sometimes. But do sometimes
shower and driving.
Yeah, that's right. We did
or vacuum.
We did a whole vision. Vacuum. Do you vacuum?
No, but I don't.
Help it.
I do about once every 6 months.
Okay. No, you have carpets.
The reason I said that was because for writers, sometimes, you're sitting at the computer and you're struggling to try to find that sentence. And I read this in a writing book, and it was probably written 20 years ago, but it was true. They used vacuuming as the example. The minute you get up, and you do something like, I'll vacuum, the floor, that sentence comes to you. And you're like, well, why was that so difficult? Because you let go. But do some people find it risky to put intuition together with business? Do you run into that with your clients where they... get
not so much risky. It's they can't understand the concept. It's like, huh? That should be all from my head. Or sometimes what people wind up doing is they do things that don't fit for who they are. You know, they even choose a business and a whole career, like our last one, the CPA, and it wasn't what he wanted. Maybe because their parents suggested it, a teacher suggested it. Do you know I was told to be a statistician or a mathematician?
Oh.
And yes, I'm very good at math and numbers.
Oh, yeah?
However, I love people. That's my true calling. You know, it's like,
Did you take a test?
Yeah,
Yeah.
when I was 16 at UCLA. Yes. They did also say I'm good with people and I can teach.
Oh yeah, those tests come out. You know, you
Yeah,
ought to
we
be
could
a
all be
gardener.
teachers.
And I am a teacher. I'm
And so-
constantly
yeah, so
teaching
we all
people.
are.
Yeah.
And you too.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So they follow the wrong thing that doesn't fit for them because they didn't sense, would I enjoy doing it? We're working 8 hours a day or more or less, but still quite a few hours a day on what we're doing. And imagine doing what you can't stand anything about. I mean, I'm not saying I love doing the paperwork in my business. My joy is working with people. I could do that 12 hours a day and I'm happy.
So do you find that's where you start from at with a lot of people? Like maybe they come to you to make their business better, and then you go like, well, maybe you're in the wrong business, right?
Well, I don't tell them that.
Or you sense that that's where.
I do sense it, okay? And I sit there with my little pendulum and I teach them how to dowse and use muscle testing and so forth. But I actually begin having them go inside to get the answer. I don't think it's ever as effective as if I tell them.
Right.
I just might make a suggestion. Well, you know, maybe that's not what you enjoy. It's not what I enjoy. I have to make money, though.
Yeah, I know that one.
Yeah.
And many people do. And sometimes I say, the position you're in, well, maybe you need to hold on to that job while you're training and building your new career or the business you love, you know? And it is, you know, when you love what you're doing, like I do,
The money will follow.
not only will the money follow, yeah, but you have to be grounded. If you're not grounded, it's not going to follow. Grounding is very critical. So like we open to spirit, but we must be grounded on the earth because we're here on the earth plane.
Right.
But a lot will happen when you love it. You'll have the power, you'll have the passion, you'll have the determination, and the perseverance to do it. And if you don't love it, it's not going to be there like
That's
that.
true. Helaine, how do you work with people? I know you'd see them one-on-one, but don't you have some courses?
Oh, yes. I'm actually doing more and more classes online. I'm doing teleseminars. In fact, I have another program that'll be starting soon. But actually, now I even have videos coming up. I just made some 3 videos, which are free, by the way, and you can even get them online about about the Business Intuition program.
Tell us where.
Okay, www.hzharris.com/videos. Now, it'll take another day or two for the videos to be up online because I'm just getting them from my guy this evening.
That's all right. We're evergreen.
So it'll take 2 days.
You said you have a number one secret to developing. What is that? I have to find that out.
The number one secret is love, is to do what you love. Go in that heart space of love, loving what you do, finding what you love. And if there's nothing you love, then love a poem, love a pet. It doesn't make a difference. It's that energy that vibrates at a level that makes you more magnetic to business and to clients. And it's allowing yourself to do that. And the other pieces to it, it's learning how to be quiet. See, many of us may pray and ask for things, but we forget to go very quiet and go inside and listen. And spirit can't talk to us if we're talking and blabbing constantly.
Yeah, we don't. A lot of people miss the signals.
And that's the number one secret to business intuition,
Well,
and also attracting the ideal clients and customers.
Yes, and there are certain ways of working with energy, and of course it's using the law of attraction. There are ways to magnetize people to you when your energy's open. And that's what I train them in, how to do it, how to use energy.
Right. So how do people get a hold of you?
They can call me at 818-782-6869. And I'll also be having a free teleseminar that they'll be able to sign up for at www.hzharris.com/teleseminar.
That's great. And you work with people long distance too. You
Oh,
can
yes.
coach over the phone as well.
Not only coach over the phone, I'm doing a lot of remote healing over the phone.
Remote healing,
and
that's
actually
important to
therapy
know.
too, psychotherapy.
Right. That's great. That's
Yeah.
perfect because we have a lot of people who need help.
A truly different
they-
approach.
Yeah. Very good approach. You have
Yeah.
to be unique. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah, thank you so much
It's fun.
for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for having me. I really
It
enjoyed
was a
this.
pleasure to have you, and we want to thank Jack Kenefick and Helene Harris for being our guests tonight. And next week we're going to have Camille Leone, who is the founder of the Holistic Chamber of Commerce, which is a national organization for holistic practitioners. Who else do we
And
have?
Terry, is it Braverman? Braverman, okay, who is a recovering stand-up comic. He's been at Comedy Central, the Improv, and a passionate travel junkie and the author of L.A. Made Easy, From Iconic to Eclectic.
That's his new book, yeah. So thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you next week for Talk Up Your Biz on LA Talk Live, where we're more than just talk. And don't go away or take a small break, because in 1/2 hour at 6:30 Pacific time, we'll be on the Book Beat, and we have 2 very interesting guests and guest experts. So we look forward to seeing you very soon. Thank you for listening to us. Good night.
I'm taking a stand and making a difference. Ready to change the world that I see. 'Cause I have a dream. True love is evergreen.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.